And that also, makes old content fresh and makes uh, your newspaper's blog or your newspaper's alerts even more timely if you can get them out there, and really as soon as they're published. And obviously the next advantage to posting your things on Facebook is you get that interaction between the people that are reading you. And a lot of times, people may pick up your paper, they may flip through it every week, they may not, read every article. They may not read articles that you like them to read, but on Facebook you can rework that so people notice you. So this top example here is this weekly web column that I write, and as you can see, having the title Weekly Wide Web doesn't really grab people. They may find it through the website, they may not, they may find it through the newspaper, they may not, but if you're scrolling through your newsfeed on Facebook and you see 10 things you probably didn't know about Facebook, that's kind of interesting. They may click on it, and some of them down here, are have read it. Now they're talking about it. So you've started a tiny little discussion, in the course of just 2 hours. I'm gonna switch gears and talk about the landing page. Now, if you're setting up your Facebook page for the first time or have one, and you don't know what people are seeing when they come to you, most companies now have a landing page where you type in type in facebook.com/TucsonWeekly. This is what you see, and a lot of them, even Quaker Oats, as I've mentioned before, have giant pictures with giant arrows pointing towards the like button. And when you send people to your Facebook page, the best thing that they can do for you is click that button so they're connected to you. So on Tucson Weekly, we've got a gigantic arrow. So probably thinking to yourself, that's nice, but how do I set that up for myself? So if we're logged in and we're an administrator to the page, just click on this Edit Page link, and that takes us to the nuts and bolts of the website. And next we want to go to wall settings, which is right down here. And this is the key tab that you want to look for, default landing tab for everyone else. Now, what's the advantage of having people land on your wall or your info or something that you've set up? Yeah. I think someone. Okay. Anyway, when you bring people to your website, you want to make sure that they see what you want them to see. So if we go back to the Tucson Weekly, anyone can post to your wall. You can post to your wall, other people. The disadvantage is if other people are allowed to post to your wall, you get stuff like this. You get advertisements, you get spam, you get, just junk. People that are trying to, take advantage of the people that have connected to you to promote whatever they're doing. So, you don't really want to send them to the wall automatically. If you're just starting out, you can send them to the info page. It gives you, what you're about, where you're located, what your mission statement is, but it's, not that dynamic. That's why a lot of companies have created that landing page there. And to change where people land, you'd want to select it from that menu there that I showed you below. Now, how to set up your landing page. Facebook, like your phone or your computer, has applications, apps, those tiny little programs that can be built in to do one specific function. And Facebook has created the Facebook markup language, which is very similar to HTML. It's a simple coding language where you can put a picture, put links, pretty much anything you want. So you want to make sure this app is on your Facebook page. So let me just show you real fast what that looks like. And that big arrow that I talked about earlier, this is just a link back to that image. So I mean, it's real simple to set up for something on your newspaper. Just to direct people, hey, click this like button and see what the rest of us are about. Okay, I'll go back to the and one of the things I mentioned earlier was the advertisements section on Facebook, and this again is dependent on how much of a budget you have for this. Obviously, you can rack up quite a bill if you're not careful, but this is probably the most reliable way of getting people to know that you've got a Facebook page, that this is how to connect to it quite easily. And just jump back here. You can find that if you're on the admin view on your Facebook page and promote with an advertisement tab right there. And it'll take you to something to set up your ad. It's pretty straightforward, but the advantageous part is this area here, targeting. So you can see how just these default settings, we have an estimated reach of 120 million people. That's probably a bit more than the market reach of your newspaper, but thankfully it's easy to narrow that down. So if we just search within Tucson, and let's narrow our search a bit. Okay, already we've gotten it down to a little more believable and manageable number of people who are on Facebook and likely to connect to us. So if you're a newspaper, and we're the Tucson Weekly right now, so our age is probably going to skew a tiny bit younger than the business newspaper. We can select a certain age range of people to target. You can see that number narrows. And the other important thing is to target users not already connected to Tucson Weekly, because if you are asking your own fans to sign up to become a fan, you're kind of throwing your advertising dollars away. Oops. Okay, so let's just... The other advantage is targeting users who are connected to something else. So if you're going after other people that are connected to other news organizations in town, that might be advantageous. So we can target people who are connected to Inside Tucson Business that aren't connected to the Tucson Weekly. And as you can see, that number up here gets even narrower. So how do we pay for this thing? Facebook allows you to, like Google News, pay either by click or by impression. Now, that decision is up to you, but you have to kind of think what you're trying to entice people to do. Do you want them to click on your ad to go back to your Facebook page, or do you just want to get the word out that you have a Facebook page? So if we wanted to charge people per click, it gives us a suggested pricing bid based on how many people that we've targeted. If we switch back to impressions, you can see it's a bit lower, but as you can imagine, you probably aren't going to get that many clicks that way.